Howdy, y'all. It's Reese, aka Bearman Prime, on this August 6th. Welcome back to my Read the Bible in a Year series. Thank you again for joining me. God bless you all. Card in the top right hand corner for the rest of the playlist. And please hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. I really appreciate it. All right, so Jesus is once again on the warpath here. He is calling out the Pharisees. He's calling them out for their hypocrisy, their evil, greedy, sinful ways. He's telling everyone to fear God, don't fear man. Do not be selfish and greedy about other things. Let's continue on there on that track. Let's go back to Luke 12, pick it up in verse 22. Jesus said to his followers, "So I tell you, don't worry about the things you need to live, what you will eat or what you will wear. Life is more important than food, and the body is more important than what you put on it. Look at the birds. They don't plant, harvest, or save food in houses or barns, but God feeds them, and you are worth much more than crows. None of you can add any time to your life by worrying about it. And if you can't do the little things, why worry about the big things? Think about how the wildflowers grow. They don't work or make clothes for themselves. But I tell you that even Solomon, the great and rich king, was not dressed as beautifully as one of these flowers. If God makes what grows in the field so beautiful, what do you think he will do for you? That's just grass. One day it's alive, and the next day someone throws it into a fire. But God cares enough to make it beautiful. Surely he will do so much more for you. Your faith is so small. So don't always think about what you will eat or what you will drink. Don't worry about it. That's what all those people who don't know God are always thinking about. But your Father knows that you need these things. What you should be thinking about is God's kingdom. Then he will give you all these other things you need. Verse 32. Don't fear, little flock. Your Father wants to share his kingdom with you. Sell the things you have and give that money to those who need it. This is the only way you can keep your riches from being lost. You will be storing treasure in heaven that lasts forever. Thieves can't steal that treasure, and moths can't destroy it. Your heart will be where your treasure is. Verse 35. Be ready. Be fully dressed and have your light shining. Be like servants who are waiting for their master to come home from a wedding party. The master comes and knocks, and the servants immediately open the door for him. When their master sees that they are ready and waiting for him, it will be a great day for those servants. I can tell you without a doubt, the master will get himself ready to serve a meal and tell the servants to sit down. Then he will serve them. Those servants might have to wait until midnight or later for their master. But they will be glad they did when he comes in and finds them still waiting. What would a homeowner do if he knew when a thief was coming? You know he would not let the thief break in. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at a time when you don't expect him. Verse 41. Peter said, Lord, did you tell this story for us or for all people? The Lord said, Who is the wise and trusted servant? The master trusts one servant to give the other servants their food at the right time. Who is the servant that the master trusts to do that work? When the master comes and finds him doing the work he gave him, it will be a day of blessing for that servant. I can tell you without a doubt, the master will choose that servant to take care of everything he owns. But what will happen if that servant is evil and thinks his master will not come back soon? He will begin to beat the other servants, men and women. He will eat and drink until he has had too much. Then the master will come when the servant is not ready, at a time when the servant is not expecting him. Then the master will punish that servant and send him away to be with the other people who don't obey. That servant knew what his master wanted him to do, but he did not make himself ready or try to do what his master wanted. So that servant will be punished very much. But what about the servant who does not know what his master wants? He also does things that deserve punishment, but he will get less punishment than the servant who knew what he should do. Whoever has been given much will be responsible for much. Much more will be expected from the one who has been given more. All right. So, that first part there, pretty, you know, it really applies to us today, especially in this day and age where anxiety, feelings of anxiety and depression and stress are on the rise. There's probably more and more people who are being diagnosed and treated for anxiety and depression than any other time in history. And Jesus is saying, don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, where all that stuff's going to come from. God takes care of the birds of the air. He feeds them. He takes care of the grass. They look so much more beautiful and they're clothed that way. How much more will He take care of you, His creation, created in His image? He will take care of you. So your focus should be on the kingdom of God and doing what you can to advance the kingdom of God and serving the Lord. If you do that, then He will take care of all of your needs. Okay, He has the power to do that. So believe that. And then He goes on to say that you shouldn't trust in money. Okay, um, you can't take it with you, but you can use it. And if you use it for God's purposes, if you use it to glorify God, then He says you will build up treasures in heaven. And that's the kind of treasure that can never be taken away. But if you hoard the money, if you hoard money and you keep it for yourself, it just sits there and it does nothing. Okay? So we should be using our time, our talent, our treasures to glorify God and to serve His purposes to help others and love others. That's what we should be doing with it. That's why God gives us those things. And then the next to last part, he talks about always being ready. Now, this is an allusion to the second coming when the Son of Man will return. So this is after the resurrection, post resurrection. So Jesus ascends to heaven and He promises He will return to earth to establish His kingdom on earth. But we have no idea when that's going to happen. So He's telling us, His followers, to always be ready. Okay. We don't want to be caught, lackadaisical or not doing what we're supposed to be doing. We want to be ready for when the time comes. Now, what does that look like? Well, it means just continuing to live as Jesus would want us to live, continuing to serve others, to help the poor and the needy, to love one another as we love ourselves, and most importantly, to love God. We got to keep doing that every day for the rest of our lives until the Lord comes back. Might be tomorrow, might be next year, might be 100 years from now. Who the heck knows? Okay, but always be ready, because it'll be better for those who are ready and continue to honor and serve the Lord than for those who fall off the wagon, or even worse, never acknowledge Him in the first place. And that's the whole point of that last part there, where Peter asks, who did you tell that story for? And Jesus asks, who was the wise and trusted servant? So He's referring to Himself there probably, but He's also referring to us in a way. So Jesus is obviously a very wise and trusted servant that God sends to prepare His way, to prepare the way for Himself, really. But we are also that wise and trusted servant as well. We should be the ones who are waiting for the Master, the Lord, to come back, be ready for Him to meet His needs. And when we do, He says, then the Master, the Lord, will be the one to take care of us and will feed us and give us honor and praise and glory, right? But the one who doesn't, the one who, spends his time doing nothing and wasting their life, then it's going to be really bad for them. They'll be cast out. Okay. Like I said, I don't want to be cast out. I want to be in the club. Okay. And I hope you do too. All right. That's all for today. We're going to pick it up there tomorrow. Thank you again for joining me. I sure do appreciate it. I'll see y'all tomorrow.